Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it do, what it is.
What it is, what it does, General. Wagwan, what's the story?
Jack, my guy. We alive and blood clot kicking.
Shred as usual, standard thing.
You know what it is, And obviously the listeners, they know what it is too. Because it is another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. I'm your host, Tabo.
And I'm your favorite lawyer, Senna.
Aye. Relax.
The
Too much
people must know. The people must know.
Too much veve there, Mr. Moyo. I think you need to calm down. Just calm down a little bit. Just a little bit. You know?
The people must know. The people must know.
Okay, fair enough. Did you have a good week? Firstly, happy birthday to the motherland, to the continent. Is it the birthday or just the day we choose to recognize? Either way, man, happy Africa Day.
Hey, yeah, I think it's this day we choose to recognize our lovely continent, and we celebrate what it means to be African. But yeah, man, I think happy Africa Day to everyone.
What does
Africa
it mean
Week,
to
Month.
you to be African, Mr. Moyo?
Watch me go into a poetic. It just means to be a son of the soil, bruh. You know, to be a son of the soil, to be an African. You know, I was about to let me actually say this. Do you know the I am an African poem?
No, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
So, Mr. Maps, the poem that I'm talking about is from your namesake.
Mm-hmm.
He starts off by saying, I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. My body has frozen in our frosts and in our latter-day snows. It has thawed in the warmth of our sunshine and melted in the heat of the midday sun. The crack and the rumble of the summer thunders, lashed by the startling lightning, have been a cause both for trembling and of hope.
Okay.
Who said those words? I've given you a clue.
Yeah?
I've given you a clue to who said it. I said it's your namesake.
I didn't tell. Mbegi.
Yeah. There you go. But every year, every Africa Day, I kind of try to read it just to see, okay, what was he thinking when he read this?
Okay. All right. Mbegi's not so bad.
No, he's a really smart lad. But anyways, happy Africa Day, Vajit.
Yeah, no, definitely. Happy Africa Day from I'm a cheese boys. I'm a cheese boy rather. From 6 Foot Weights. But yeah, okay. I hope you wore your Mape shoes for 2 minutes. Well, I'm Mape then.
No, I don't.
Why?
I actually never wear like any traditional attire.
What kind of Nguni man doesn't have a Mape?
When lepage?
In my closet, fam.
Why?
Because I'm a proud Nguni man.
I'm the type, if I were to ever buy it, I'd probably wear it very frequently, not only on occasion.
MK rocks his shit to the gym, bro. MK is Captain Dibele. That's a man I salute all the time.
I once went to BF with MK. We went to BF one June holiday when I was back home. And he literally wore his traditional Ndebele clothing.
Yeah, no, MK is no. That's Ndebele men, you know, Indo de Koto type of thing. That's MK. That's MK.
Yeah,
I'm really sad that we never got to publish that lawyering item with MK. That was interesting. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, we should bring him back and then like redo it.
Yeah.
Or in a different sort of context.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, let's move into the housekeeping. I feel like we've distracted ourselves. On this beautiful Africa Day, where people are promoting unity amongst the sons and daughters of Africa, a certain group of podcasters decided to I don't even know. Is it a coup? They created a cabal.
Yes, they created a cabal. Yes. They decided to sow the seeds of division and exclusion and discrimination. Every ism that we can think of at this very moment in time.
Yeah. And it's absolutely unacceptable. There are no words to describe the amount of betrayal. What other big SAT words can we come up with? Mr. Loy.
Et tu brute to all of them.
Wait, say that again.
I'm not sure which book it was. Was it Macbeth, where someone, I don't know who was being betrayed, but I think it was you too, Brutus. I think Brutus was it Caesar? It was Caesar who had been betrayed, and then he was like, "Oh, you too, Brutus," because Brutus was also betrayed by someone. So it wasn't from I don't know why I thought it was from one of those Shakespeare books.
You're naming people. I'm like, I thought I read Macbeth, but it's not something.
Yeah, no, because in my head, I'm like, oh no, it actually can't be. But I think it was Caesar, and he was being betrayed. I think one of the people that betrayed him was Brutus, and then I think his dying words were, "Oh, you too, Brutus."
Yeah,
similar to if Jesus was dying, it was like, you too, Judas.
But the underlying point here is, our Judas got together, and they recorded a podcast. I guess I'm assuming it's the Girl in Skies podcast. At the time of this recording, I don't think it's out yet. I guess they're still editing it, and and their excuse. I saw your exchange with Nat. Where she said, "Hey, no, it's because we're all in the UK."
She said geography.
Starts in the morning, Feeling Station, Girls in Sky, geography, njani. Acting as if we're not just one business class flight away from the UK,
bro.
Yo,
bro.
I don't understand that. Like, I'm just like, listen, if y'all needed us to pull up, we would have pulled up. You know what I mean? Like
bro.
All you gotta do is hit up the Cheese Boys, of which, there's a link that Nat sent. I need to check it actually. I literally forgot. But
it was a stand-up comedian thing.
Yeah. So I just remember that. But yeah, no. I think all of them need to do better.
Who do you think was the architect behind the betrayal?
Yeah.
Who do you think was the architect behind
this
exclusion? Out of all four of them.
That's a tough one. Okay. So if we analyze the situation appropriately, this is on the Girl in Skies platform. So I think we can move away Mr. Kandoro and Mr. Tinto. We can move them to the side. Also, it's because they are men, and men would never ever leave brothers on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that they would never, although they're from Harare, so I don't know. These H-Town owners can be kind of funny sometimes. But you know what? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Our diplomatic relations with H-Town residents are pretty good. So you know what? We'll put that to the side. So right, between
your sisters.
Yeah, I think the quote unquote sisters. Between Nat and Oli, I think, man, the problem is that on the surface they're very nice, yabo. That's the problem. So now it's difficult to see who has the darker intentions. But I think if I were to put my money on it, I would probably go with I'd go with Xoli.
I was about to say.
I think I would. Again, this. you know what? I changed my pick. Because I recorded it with Xoli, and that was great. So no, I take it
it's
back.
the ones you trust, bruh. But
They
will hurt you.
Okay, I mean, hey, but you know what? Let me just go with Nat. Simply on the, scale of, I don't know, maybe there is a dark side to Nat. She looks like a fun-loving human being, but you never know, man. You never know until you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, one made the plan and the other co-signed, so they're both guilty, Your Honor.
Equally liable.
They're equally liable. So I think we need to have a conversation to find out what exactly happened, Because no, man, this is unacceptable. I'm waiting for the podcast to drop. I'm waiting for the podcast episode to drop. I'm very, very curious to listen to it. Hopefully, if there's a logical justification, because we know it's not money. We've got business class money here. Like, listen, we are, So I want to hear the justification of how this thing, came together. Because we're going to find our own cabal. We just have to make like new podcaster friends. But eventually.
One time.
Yeah, no. I got a different twang, Benzan. I need to send these DMs, not me.
So Meluti, right, guys, Salbonani, we are seen as
Super League, bruh. Super League. This is basically a Super League search, and we're freaking who was Roma?
Leicester. Yes, we're like Leicester. We're like they were like, guys, how far?
Hey. So we fumbled top 4, bruh. We fumbled top 4. They were like, check.
Because I was just, when you're scrolling on Twitter, then you see a picture and you're like,
I know these faces.
And then in my head, that song, Ega Tear Gas, like, it be the betrayal.
It just started playing in your head.
And then,
I'm saying the song just started playing in your head.
It just started playing in my head. How? And then you are born dropping soon. Dropping soon. I even checked my emails. Maybe I missed something. Because sometimes me and my WhatsApps and my texts, sometimes maybe I forget to reply to an invite. Dololo, bruh.
Yeah, no. Florentino Perez, a.k.a. Nat, our invitations got lost somewhere.
I hope they find them.
But I will say, your tweet, the training day clip, brilliant. 10 out of 10. I saw that and I burst out laughing at work. Like proper from the gut. So well done on that one. I'll definitely give you that one. That was hilarious.
No, but generally, Thabo, I told you, I'm quite hilarious. It's just that you don't believe.
You're hit and miss, dog. You're hit and miss. These hands that are trying to be on your dick are just gassing you. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever get it me. I'm giving you objective
I'm
commentary.
Actually funny.
No.
Some of my responses are quite hilarious.
Yeah, some. Absolutely, some. I'm
most
right
of them.
Not most. It's bump.
I'm telling you.
But anyway, this is not a time for us to be divided, Mr. Moyo. We're standing in unity to take down the cabal. So the podcast, the regulatory committee needs to hear our pleas and,
We expect a written statement and a letter of apology. In fact, if Kandoro doesn't come on a video wearing that apology jersey, that apology jersey, that one that guy wore after Mnangagwa made him apologize. If he doesn't wear that jersey on a video, I won't take it seriously.
Lathi phela sizasuka njengobonanga elizwanga last week. We'll serve notice lapho that's that. But anyway, oh yes, housekeeping, guys. So what we're gonna do on the YouTube channel is that we're gonna start posting full episodes on YouTube. Yay! And yeah, basically for those listeners who, if you're at work and it's just easier to be on YouTube, or I don't know, whatever your reason is to be on YouTube. Yeah. So we're just going to put the episodes up on YouTube and you'd be able to listen. If you prefer listening on your current podcast streaming, don't use that as long as you listen, right? So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And I think that is it under housekeeping. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that is everything.
Okay. Let's move forward. Let's keep the show rolling. And first up is something that, again, I've been sitting on for a while. I don't know. Things happened and whatever. But anyway, I had promised everybody that, after our stock chats, which we got pretty good feedback on, we were going to dive into cryptocurrency. And it is a complicated topic. We'll start there. There's just so much out there, and there's a lot going on right now in crypto. Stress is because of crypto right now. But you know what? For the people, I'll keep my composure. We'll cry about it later. But anyway, Mr. Moy, what do you know about cryptocurrency? Obviously, for example, Bitcoin is, probably the one that you know best or have heard of the most. But generally speaking, if I said crypto, what are you thinking of? Where are you right now in terms of your knowledge?
In terms of my crypto knowledge, I just know it's like underground money that you guys use to do dodgy things. No, like legit. That's what it is.
Underground money.
That's what.
Underground money is what you called it.
Underground money.
Okay.
But from my understanding, it's a form of digital money, right?
Yes,
it's like
that's better.
A form of electronic money or digital type of currency which exists sort of online.
Mm-hmm.
And in that regard, you can then use it to transact and exchange it for certain real currency at a particular value.
Yes.
Depending on the particular time.
Yes.
And in some instances, it can be worth more. In some instances, it can be worth less. I think the only thing I'm not sure of is kind of what informs the values. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in a nutshell, I think that's my basic understanding.
Okay. Do you own any cryptocurrency?
No.
Do you plan on buying any cryptocurrency? Are you tempted to buy?
I almost bought Bitcoin at some point.
Why?
It was the time when Bitcoin was like a really in thing and everyone was getting in. They were making and buying and selling and making 6 times whatever. It was a lot of money that people were making, but I was like a shitload. And it seemed like a bandwagon that everyone was getting on. But then I'm always...
So you tategat?
For a little bit. For a couple of weeks, even I was sitting there, okay, this... Bitcoin, angazi ama Bitcoin ukuthi yini, but it sounds like something that can make me more money. And I thought of buying some and then I just didn't.
Okay. All right.
Because I didn't understand enough, and I feel like when you're trading onto something with which you don't have a full understanding of what it is, what informs it being the biggest thing, like what informs the value, what are the kind of things you should look out for, then I'd prefer to err on the side of caution and just deal with Forex. Maybe that's something that's easier to get.
Okay. Forex, interesting. All right, fair enough. That could be another topic for another day. But so yeah, you generally understand what crypto is and Bitcoin and all these other things. So I'll try and keep this as basic and as non-technical as possible. I think that's the whole point of this whole chat, yeah. Because if you start going into blockchain, like I even watched, like any expert, I went on YouTube and I was like, what the fuck is blockchain? And the stuff that was coming out, I got confused, So like it can definitely get a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But in a nutshell, cryptocurrency is, it's a digital currency, not necessarily underground. I guess that's more of the marketing of it that has been out there. But essentially, ironically, Senna, it is the most transparent currency out there. right? In terms of transactions. And the reason for that, actually, I'll table that for a second. But yeah, basically what cryptocurrency is, it's just a currency. It's a digital currency that you can use to, pay each other, like barter trade, the same way governments decided, right, this US dollar has this value and whatever, cryptocurrency is just a different type of currency we can use to purchase goods, right? Or services. Basically, technically, that's what it is, right? In terms of how it basically came to be, what was this guy's name? So Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency out there. That's the biggest one, and it's the most popular, and it's the first cryptocurrency that was out there, and it was created by Satoshi. Either that's a person or a group. I'm actually not 100%. And basically the difference between the US dollar, euros, and whatever versus Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is the dollars and other types of currency are based in something, right? One, and two, they're regulated by a body, a government or a bank or whatever, right? So there's regulation involved, and it's just kind of like this is what we are putting in terms of the value of this thing. Crypto is decentralized, and what that means is there is no governing body for cryptocurrencies. And just on that alone, Sena, I'm sure you can imagine why banks, why governments are like, I don't like this crypto thing. Because obviously you're taking the control out of their hands and putting it in the hands of the people. So in a decentralized system, it's not one person doing all the vetting or one entity doing all the vetting. It's everyone. You get what I mean? So what I mean by that is like you have a bunch of it's through a blockchain technology that cryptocurrencies exist. And what blockchain is, essentially what blockchain is it's a block and linked together by a chain. A bunch of blocks linked together by a chain. I know, man. It sounds funny, but like literally that's really what it is. It really what it is. And the easiest way to imagine blockchain is Microsoft Excel. Everybody listening to this podcast has either seen or heard of a Excel sheet in their lives. So it's basically a huge Excel sheet that once something is written down. So for example, Sena paid Tabo 10 coins. It was there forever. And that's where I went, and that's what I meant in terms of the transparency of cryptocurrency. So you cannot edit the ledger, right? You cannot change it. It cannot be, affected by fraud, for example, or you cannot make, like double transactions or whatever the case is. Like once it's done, once Sena sent Tabo $10, forever and ever in history, and everyone has access to that ledger, that's what it is, right? And then when that first block is full, then a second block is created. And then when that one is full, then the next block, and then the next block. And it's literally just a storage of all of that data. And you can trace literally where every coin, the journey of every coin, would it yatin. So you can trace the whole thing, right? And that is where the attractiveness of cryptocurrency comes in. What's the other thing that I wanted to touch on in terms of value, and which is something that you
what informs the value of Bitcoin, for example? How do I decide that against the US dollar is now worth 1 is to whatever 600 or 60 or whatever it is?
It's me and you that determine that, bro. It's the market. So it's whatever what are buyers willing to buy at and what are sellers willing to sell at, essentially.
Okay.
What is the value of it? So if me and you create a coin right now called the 6 foot weights coin, right? It's going to start off at a value of 0. But then our listeners will be like, actually, I value the 6 foot weight coins at $10 a coin. So now we're worth $10. That's our market capitalization. So that's essentially how that happens. So umuntu okona, listener A will come in and be like, right, I want $100 worth of coins, so that'll be 10 coins, right? and then the market cap is at $100, and then someone else will come in and be like, you know what? Actually, these guys are popping. I love their podcast. I'm willing to pay $20 a coin for these coins. And then that listener number one can sell their coins, which they bought at $10 for $20. You see what I mean? So because of demand. So if the demand is there, then the price comes up. That's essentially how, even in stocks, in anything, demand increases, supply decreases, that increases the value of said product, right? So that's essentially what that's all that it is. And then the other thing about cryptocurrencies as well is that they, unlike currency, right? And every Zimbabwean should be able to relate to what I'm about to say. There's no, dollars are limitless, right? So yes, they can get you, let's say there's, 2 trillion dollar notes out there. It's not like that's the end of it. If they need more, they'll just print more, right? AKA what we did in Zim. We just printed more dollars. But then if you flood the market... But that
didn't work. Like, economically, it didn't work.
Exactly. Because if you flood the market, then it messes up things at the end of the day, right? You're not supposed to pump it. So essentially, with Bitcoin, for example, I believe it's a total of 21 million coins. Total.
That exists?
No, that can exist. I think so far, I don't know, I can't remember. But maybe 15, I don't know. I'm really maybe 10 to 15 million have been mined already. So they're in circulation right now. But then once and again, don't quote me on the number, I can't remember what the number is, but a certain amount of, let's go, for example, 12 million coins are out there in the marketplace right now for Bitcoin specifically, 12 million. But the cap is 21 million. So once we get to 21 million coins mined, right, or out there in the market, that's the cap. There's no other new Bitcoin that can be created.
That are going to come.
It's done, right? So any coins that are decentralized will be, will have a cap. There'll be a certain amount that can be mined, and then basically that's kind of it. Whereas with currencies, right, your dollars, your euros, your pounds, whatever, there's no cap to it. It can just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So that's essentially what crypto is. That's how it gets its value. Let me see. Is there anything that else I need to touch on? So do you have anything that you want me to clarify before I move into how it's created?
The actual mining thing, I'm sorry, it's how do I actually mine Bitcoin? Because when you think mining, I think there's someone going underground.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it is, right? In terms of mining, right? It's the reason why it's called mining is because kind of like our natural resources, they're finite, right? There's only so much gold in the world. If we really, tried our best, we could finish all the gold in the world, right? At some point, is a phela yonke. So with certain resources, at some point, the oil yonke is a phela, right? That's kind of just how things are, and that's why it's called Bitcoin mining, because remember, there's that cap, right, of 21 million. At some point, we're gonna hit that cap. So So what actually happened? Where did I have this? So Satoshi, who invented Bitcoin, for example, he wanted the rate at which Bitcoins could be mined to remain the same. So let me pause on that statement right now. Basically, what you're doing when you're mining is, in the simplest way possible, you are solving a puzzle, a mathematical puzzle, right? And when you solve it, you get a reward, which would be a coin, right? Or coins for solving it. That's essentially what mining is, right? But it's not you, Senna, with a pen and paper doing maths, carry the 2, bring down the 1. That's not what it is. It'll be a computer. Right, so your computer
does the
exactly
work.
Your computer.
Oh, thank God!
Does the puzzles and says right, ding, ding, done it, and then also it's you verifying transactions, because remember it's decentralized, right? So the reason why it cannot be you can't defraud the system is because Lawa you're verifying, I'm verifying, Nangale is verifying, so all of us have to be on the same page in terms of verifying the payment. right? Or the transaction.
Okay.
So that's why you can't, you know. So if Senna goes, yeah, no, actually, you know, John did this thing, and I go no, and everyone else goes no, then we know with Senna, you know, will a problem, you know what I mean? So everything always has to be in unison. So obviously, when Bitcoin was literally just kind of launched, right, and it was out there, I think it was started in 2008. Just after the financial crisis, there's plenty of volume, right? Meaning that in terms of the complexity of those puzzles that your computer would have to solve, they were relatively easy and straightforward. So to put things into perspective, because obviously Satoshi wanted to keep the rate of which Bitcoin can be mined the same, so generally in 2009, your computer kind of working through those puzzles could come up with about 200 coins in a few days. Generally speaking, about 200 coins in a few days. But by 2015, to mine one coin, it would take just under 100 years to mine one coin. So it gets a lot more complex with more miners in the market, because like he wanted the rate to just remain the same. Not Guti. Now that there's 100,000 people mining Bitcoin, it's all kind of boom, the 1 million coins are out there, right? So that's how it's kind of still going on. So it got harder and harder and harder the more people started mining. So what people are doing now, or at least we're doing in the last few years, was you had to use a supercomputer. You can't now your ASA, your i5 processor, that one can't do anything. You need a supercomputer.
So you now need like a proper
like
thing.
machines plural
Machine.
to work out these complex equations and algorithms and A, B, C, D just for one coin. So now the cost benefit analysis comes into it. Before, in 08, 2010, I knew people that were mining Bitcoin, and you know it was profitable, right? But also keep in mind, back then the value of Bitcoin was virtually nothing, right? So quote unquote profitable. But it made sense for you to, put one or two computers together and do it. But Gatesi, the cost of you putting together the number of supercomputers needed is ridiculous, right? But anyway, what people have designed is now groups of people where they take this whole equation and then say 20, for example, and then we work out bits and pieces of the puzzle. So the corner over there, Senna, you're handling that. I'm handling the corner over here. Someone else is handling that other corner. You know what I mean? So then instead of the whole coin, now you get a bit of the profit at the end of the day for mining. So that's kind of the conversation on how you mine Bitcoin or any coins generally. That's how it works.
Dope.
But yeah,
I think I kind of have an idea now of how.
It's complicated, but basically, at this.
I'm not sure if we're going to touch on my next question, but keep going. Yeah.
Okay, what's your next question?
No, keep going. The slump.
Okay. So what's going on right now in the real world?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, what has happened in the last 5-6 years is I'm going to use Bitcoin because again that's the big brother currency, right? As Bitcoin goes, the other ones tend to go as well. It's a very, very volatile market. So one of the criticisms of the cryptocurrency market is it's super volatile.
I can imagine if the value is dictated by me and you.
Yeah, literally.
And not
if we're fleeing from it and everyone is trying to sell, then it's like and if everyone's trying to buy, then it's lit. So it's literally that it's not based, it's not grounded, it's not kept by anything. Like for example with currencies, it's gold and it's this and that. You know what I mean? Like
it's informed by proper existing things in the natural world.
Yeah,
that will keep wealth kind of in circulation.
Yeah. It'll work. I mean, the current system works for certain people, right? But then, that is what we have. That's what we have, and that's what we've always known. So this is brand new territory in terms of moving completely away from that. So that's one of the criticisms of Bitcoin, and we'll kind of see of any cryptocurrency, and we're kind of seeing it now. You can be a millionaire or you can be broke, all in the same space, right? So generally in the last few years, especially in the last few months, a lot of these cryptocurrencies have been popping up. We spoke about, we didn't speak about it, but I know you heard about Dogecoin, right? Or Dogecoin. The meme.
Yeah.
The meme.
The one
coin.
that DJ is it the one that DJ Spoo told everyone to go buy.
I didn't know Spoo was on that, but I mean, again, that's for his own selfish reasons as well, right? So I'll buy a bunch of Dogecoin, and if I'm an influencer, then I strategically be like, right, Senna, you go tell your people, I'm telling my people, they tell their people, but Tina, we've been in the market, you know what I mean? So Tina Swatenge for $1 type of thing, and then we drum up the what? We drum up the demand, and then I want to say about $10 at $20. You see what I mean? So that's what
when you're now selling,
when you
sell for
you sell for a wild profit, because now when you're selling, everyone's trying to buy, right?
Why does it sound like a pyramid scheme?
It kind of is. It kind of is, but it's not. But it is. People are using it as a get rich quick scheme, and when you do that, that's essentially what causes a bubble, because at some point the bubble bursts, right? For whatever reason, the bubble bursts. And when the bubbles burst, a lot of people are screwed, because it was a lot of people that were just kind of here for a good time, not a long time, right? So that's kind of what happened in this particular case, although there were different factors. But anyway, so in the last, like, let's say the turn of the new year, so 2021. So actually, before I even get to that, to just to sort of hammer the point home in terms of how volatile the market is. In December 2017, which was, I think, 4 years ago now, Bitcoin was selling at $19,000, just about $20,000, right? $20,000 a coin. In December the next year, so from 2017 to 2018, that same Bitcoin, guess what the value was? $3,000. So,
whoa.
Yeah, that's a sharp decline, right? And then 2 years later, November 2020, Bitcoin was now at 13,000. So if you imagine if you had bought, you put your whole life savings into Bitcoin in 2017 at 20,000 a coin, it drove it to 3,000, right? But then those guys who were just here for a short time, not a long time, they bought at 20,000 and they sold at $3,000. How much money have you lost, bro? It's a lot of money, right? So literally about 90%, almost 90% of what you invested, you sold, right? You lost it and then you sold, meaning there's no chance of recovery. Whereas if you held on to it, right, went through from 2017 all the way to 2020, Bitcoin was up to 13,000. So you'd have recouped almost half of your losses if you stayed in. But then if you stayed in some more, right? And we went to January 2021 into what's this thing called? Into Feb. Bitcoin hit a new high, a career high of $50,000. And then a month later went even higher to $60,000.
Nice life.
Nice life, bro. Nice life. So now imagine if you had jumped in November 2018 when it was selling for $3,000. How many times your investment would you have gotten out? Wild shit. Crazy. So a lot of this was happening.
Big money.
Yeah, big money. People are becoming millionaires overnight, right? And again, that's where a lot of the craze started coming from in terms of people, there was not, the stock market will never ever do that, right? You will never invest $100 in Apple Uzo twice it's worth $2,000, or in a month. You know what I mean? That will never ever happen. There's other coins which are selling for pennies, less than $1. The coins who sell for less than $1 and people are making 24 times their investment, right? These are things that are happening right now. So there was a huge craze in terms of, it went from, there's those Forex guys that are annoying on Instagram to now those crypto guys that are annoying on Instagram. People were actually making money because now it was a more surefire thing than Forex. If you hit, you hit, because even with Forex, you could never hit like that. Right, so crypto, people were just, and you know what I mean. Like when people who are just kind of living,
take it to those heights.
Yeah, people who are just kind of living, their normal middle class lives. I'm telling $100 and I'll make you 5 G's, bruh. You see how crazy things got. So this is all from January till about now. A lot of things were soaring, Gumnandi, everyone is singing cryptocurrency, la-di-da, blah, blah, blah. And then Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, CEO of Tesla.
Yeah.
I think he's the CEO, right? he then starts tweeting about Dogecoin, and then that goes up, and hey, what. Then he tweets again, and he says, and again, look, this is how volatile it is. One tweet from Elon Musk was shaping the market. He tweeted and he said, Tesla is now going to start accepting Bitcoin to finance your car, so you can buy Teslas in Bitcoin. So that increased the price of Bitcoin, and it came up. And then I can't remember what it was. So then what ended up happening, I think, is either a few days later or a week later, he tweets again to retract that statement and says, with the due to the climate and certain concerns, we're actually not going to accept Bitcoin. So now that's when it took a hit, right?
Then it tanked.
That's when the tank started. Then the other thing that happened was there was a rumor that Tesla had sold and dumped all of its stock in Bitcoin. So usually what happens, and this happens in the securities market as well, hey, Bloomberg has dumped all his stock in Apple. Everybody thinks, oh shit, it's Bloomberg. And if Bloomberg is dumping Apple, he knows something that I don't know. Then
so
the whole market panics. Exactly. So it's kind of, I see you on the street, I see Senna running full speed the other way.
I'm also just turn around and run.
Exactly. So it's like, no, listen, if this thing is running, I'm running too. So then now it causes panic in the market, and what happens? Nobody's trying to buy, everybody's trying to sell, and it starts to tank. Then the final nail in the coffin was then the Chinese government, or rather the People's Bank of China, put out a statement and said, listen, this thing of digital currency, crypto njani is fake. It doesn't exist. Nonsense. So Veletina, we're not even going to delve into that nonsense. Like, you can't use it to buy any goods and services. We're not going to allow that shit. In China, forget. Just forget about it. Went and put that out. And then that was the final nail in the coffin. Boom! Bitcoin down from 60,000. And I believe it is currently trading at about 32,000. 32,000. Let me see. Bitcoin.
Which is way, way less than the heights that it reached.
Half. From touching 60. From... It's a tough one. It was as low as 32, but now it's at about 37,000. So it's starting to recover. So if you were paying attention on Twitter, some of you guys might have heard or seen jokes about buy the dip, right? So I'm not sure if you did catch a bit of that chatter, but essentially,
I did, yeah.
What all that means is, there's people who believe in timing the market, right? So when I spoke about stocks and how to value a stock and stuff like that, when you want to buy stocks, there's something that I spoke about, which is the most important term when it comes to anything that you want to invest in, right? It's the intrinsic value. The intrinsic value is what is the actual value of this thing, right? Regardless of what is listed, right? Yes, I see ukuthi khona isinkwa is $5, but what is the intrinsic value of isinkwa is? You know what I mean? Like those type of things. So basically, when you buy the dip, it literally means the stock is dipped, right? So it's picture a graph, it's dipped, it's gone down. If you're looking at the graph, you're gonna say, oh, okay, this was selling at 60,000 a coin, right? Do you believe at 60,000 a coin, Bitcoin was overvalued, or do you believe that it was just right? If you think it was just right, then if it's as low as $37,000 a coin, guess what you should be doing? Buying the dip. Because if the intrinsic value is 60, it's going to come back to 60. You know what I mean? So you would have made $30,000 just by buying. And that's what people meant by, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And this is the same in crypto and stocks. Because
end in tears.
It will end in tears for a lot of people. It will end in tears for a lot of people.
Because it seems like such a gamble.
It is.
I mean, it's big gambles.
It really is a big gamble because, again, I was even talking to one of my friends, and I was telling her, because she was thinking about investing into crypto and what's the best way forward. We're talking to her with Brian, and it was one of those things where I was like, listen, if you want to get into crypto, go ahead, but you need to use money that you're like, again, it's okay. Don't jump in there with, oh, I'm saving £1,000 a month, and then you're putting that in the crypto market. Then now it's a shit show, and you're crying because you've lost £5,000. You know what I mean? Like, nah, don't do that. If you've got $100 where you're like, you know what, this was going to be drinking money, this was going to be party money, this was going to be whatever money, then sure, throw it in there, see what happens, right? And learn. Because everybody's learning right now. Crypto is relatively new for a lot of people, and you want to sort of just kind of feel it out and see how things are going. So that's what I'd recommend to anyone who's thinking about cryptocurrency and using their own money. Yes, it technically is a get rich quick scheme, but it is a very volatile get rich quick scheme. You could be burnt by this, or you could win. Right? It literally is the flip of a coin. There's nothing that's backing these coins. There's nothing that's backing Bitcoin, you know? So things can get real tricky real quick. So it really is a gamble at the end of the day. There's no, you know, with the stock market, we have got years and years and years and years of history where I can tell you, if you're in the stock market for at least 30 years, you will never not make money. If you invested $10, you will never, it will never be less than $10 after 30 years. We have historical data on that. We don't have that same historical data on Bitcoin. So who knows? Maybe it's coming back down to $10, bro. maybe we're literally coming back down to $10, or maybe we're on the way. Because my personal prediction was it was going up to 100,000. But hey, who knows?
The way things are looking now.
Yeah. We could be having a discussion in December when this thing has hit 100K, bro, or 300K.
You never know.
Know.
What would you say? What would you say to someone who then has, I don't know, maybe $1,000 just sitting around that they just want to just throw into something?
I mean, again, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I'm not your financial advisor, so I can't tell them what to do. But what I would say is do research, right? Do research into different investment opportunities. I normally would say invest in something that you believe in. Invest in something that you understand. That's that. So if you have $1,000 lying around, figure out, I'm into weaves. All right, cool. Like, how do I invest in that world? Is it lucrative, right? Or I'm into property or whatever it is. Look into those things. And my thing is, as long as you're invested in something and your money is working for you, as long as you're sleeping and like money is being generated and you're not in the office slaving, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what makes me most happy. I log into my app, I see you've made $200 today. Oh, okay, that's nice. I didn't clock any hours. It's a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, it feels good to know that your money is working for you. So that's what I would encourage a lot of people to do. I'm not saying, hey, jump into crypto. We're doing this to educate people. Some people are thinking about doing this and they're just kind of hearing all the hype. You need to understand both sides. But yes, there is the hype. The hype is real. These articles, and overnight millionaires, yes, of course, but then, there's overnight, broke boys in there as well. You need to understand that, and if you don't, it could get very, very tricky. So that's what's happening right now. Like, so nobody knows. Don't let people lie to you and tell you to buy the dip now because it's going back up. Yes, maybe it is, right? But it's all about the intrinsic value. But then with crypto, it is tricky because you can look at the intrinsic value of Apple, for example, because Apple is producing, iPhones and all these other gadgets, right? And there's revenue that's coming out. So you can evaluate if Apple's doing well as a company. You can be like, okay, fine, I think the value of the shares are here. You know what I mean? Kule base. But that base is really hard to figure out what is the value of this thing.
Yeah.
And
you can't figure it out.
Like I said, we could be heading to Bitcoin being as low as $10, or we could be heading to 100,000. I'd be very curious to see. And also, there was a listener who DM'd us and said, "Hey, please, can we buy?" And this was peak craze. So I think this was about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. She said, please
Yeah.
invest, I think, either $500 or $5,000 in Bitcoin in our portfolio. And due to that, we're minus 40% on our portfolio. So
yeah,
I know.
Difficult.
It's tricky. And then Bumble, Mtogo told us to invest in Bumble. We're minus 30% on that. So our percent overall is minus 2%. We are losing money. We've lost our money as a podcast. So I'm laughing, but I'm embarrassed. But yeah, that's just kind of how this thing is. That's the whole point.
That's how the thing works.
That's how the thing works, fam. You have to be smart about it, and at the end of the day, don't panic. If you're in, okay, you're in. I'm in. I've lost money. I've lost money. But it's a case of, so you can do this thing called averaging down, and basically what it means is, yes, you've lost money, but you can continue to buy more, right? More Bitcoin or more whatever you invested in, and then the average, your average losses are gonna it's gonna come down because it's a weird concept, but if you're interested, look up what averaging down is, and then there's also averaging up. So you can look up those two concepts, and you can see how that kind of works. It's quick math, but yeah, let me just see here on my little paper if there's anything that I've missed. Facebook tried to come up with a coin, and regulators were like, half sack, get out of here. We're not trying to hear that. So they're going to quote unquote rethink their coin. And then there's JP Morgan coin, but you can't buy it. It's designed to settle international accounts for their various funds abroad. So obviously the big thing with cryptocurrency is, it is going to be a big shift. It's going to be an Uber to the taxi market type of thing, where all of a sudden banks are not needed, right? Imagine, not even banks. Imagine not needing to go to Western Union to send your family members some money, bro. Imagine that.
That would be nice.
Western Union are criminals, bro. $20 is, bruh. You know what I mean? Western Union are crooks. Those charges, world remit. Imagine being able to, not have to deal with a lot of that, right? So that's kind of the vision for crypto, because again, a lot of these the governments and the banks, there's a lot of crooked people in there, who are making it work for them, and that's where a lot of this spurs from. And that's how the crypto revolution started. So, and then also, I'm just kind of spouting out random knowledge. So these other coins, so Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, whatever other coins you've heard of, those are all called altcoins, alternative coins, because, Big Brother is Bitcoin. So they're alternatives, to Bitcoin.
To that. Okay.
And that is your cryptocurrency lesson. I hope it made sense, and I hope it was digestible.
It did. Yeah. It kind of explains why Histrick decided to go the crypto route when he was doing his crap thing, and decided to be paid in Bitcoin for throwing matches. But I know Siyabonga Maposa. I think that's made it clear, at least for me. I can't speak for everyone else, but I think for me it just brought a kind of simpler understanding of what it means and all these things, and kind of things to take note of, especially because ultimately you always throw your money in crypto, throw your money in this, throw your money in that. And I think a lot of people, like maybe me, I might have money sitting around that is just chilling, and I'm thinking, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe if I throw it towards something, it can multiply to something else. Maybe if I throw it towards a cow, someone at home can then buy a cow, and then next thing I have a whole farming project, right?
Yeah.
So it's always good to kind of have all the information in hand, and then we all know then afterwards, with your right, what's the best decision I can do with my finances. But no, Siyabong, we appreciate.
Yeah, no, definitely. People always need to educate themselves. Make sure that they are aware. Don't be caught sleeping. There's a lot of people that are wanting to take advantage of you and your money, and all of that. So the more that you know, again, YouTube is your best friend. Google is your best friend. All of this information, is readily
Stay
available.
online.
You know, it's readily available. There's easy ways to digest a lot of this, and it's really not that hard. It just takes a bit of effort to just say, "How, Kati, what is this thing?" And yeah, if you want to buy, there's different like exchanges and stuff like that you can look up that will allow you to buy. So you can, you know, if you make a bit of money, you can put it in your wallet, meaning that even if the thing tanks the next day or the next hour, you know, your money will be just fine if it's in your wallet. It's not in the market. And yeah, it's you know, there's you know, what's this thing called? There's places that accept Bitcoin as payments. I've seen Bitcoin ATMs actually around town and in a few different countries, you know, so it's definitely where we're heading as a society. But it's one of those things where Kati, what were we talking about that I was trying to disrupt? I forgot. What were we discussing a few weeks ago? Where they said they want a piece of the pie. Oh, Super League. There we go.
It's Super League. Yeah,
it's like the Super League, where it's like, nah, if UEFA was invited with open arms, best believe we would have had a Super League right now. The way that it was proposed, if UEFA was approached and given the respect that they believe that they're due, 100%, they would have been on. You know, and that's kind of where we are with crypto, where it's just kind of like, you know, again, you're literally telling the regulators who've been here for years, hundreds of years, with sack. And they're not going to be happy about that, you know? And yeah, you know, they're the ones who want to manipulate the markets. They're the ones who want to be in control. Been doing it for years. You just haven't noticed because it's happening at the top level. Like, our corruption in Tinarapo, Africa, it's nothing, bro. It's
Nothing, bro. I always say,
Nothing,
people look at European countries and like, in Africa we have a corruption problem.
Exactly.
In those countries, they are elite. They are next level.
No, those guys are on levels. Like, listen, like it's good to hear someone stole, you know, however many million, bought a Range Rover, please,
bro.
Someone is stealing the country's GDP, dog. Zimbabwe's GDP is in someone's bank account right now. But anyway, that was the chat. Let's sort of transition into our couple other topics. I guess we're going to have to like kind of run through them. But Mr. Moy, you've seen episode 4 of Blue Therapy. If anyone doesn't know what Blue Therapy is, it's a therapy show. It's kind of, I think it's trash TV or whatever. Just go on YouTube, type in Blue Therapy. It's really funny. I'm really not a fan of these type of things, but I'm thoroughly entertained. But what did you want to touch on?
Same. Like I generally don't watch reality TV, but this was shocking. So obviously we spoke previously about the two couples that are there.
Yeah.
And one of them, I think we'll focus more on Paul and Chioma because I think that's where a lot of the shocking things come from. Mm-hmm. But we spoke a lot about Paul and the issues they were having in their relationship. And then in episode 4, we kind of got more light into like the particulars because I think it was surface level stuff up until now. It was like, she goes to the club, he doesn't give me attention, doesn't like me dancing. It was little things, but this time around there were several things. So the first was Chioma complained that Paul does not have sex with her at all,
and they live together.
That's what she's saying. And they live together, and she feels like she has to pleasure herself while he's there, which she feels as a woman is not right, or as a person, I think. It's just. What did you think about that, Thabo? Would you ever wanna accept lawe ukuphila impilo enjalo?
On whose side? On Chioma's side or on Paul's side?
On Chioma's side.
On Chioma's side? Nah. Chill. I think I felt bad for her. I was like, oh damn, that's shitty. But it is something that is fairly popular that happens in relationships, where, you know, I guess if you start living with someone, it can get to that point where I think personally, I think Paul is getting it from elsewhere. That's because obviously she's like, yo, we used to do it all the time, right? like literally all the time, and then it kind of just stops. And then he was coming up with all these flimsy excuses. Oh, you put on some weight. Oh, this and that. Like, just dumb stuff. Where in my mind, the only thing is you're getting it from somewhere. I don't think I know anyone who can say, my appetite actually for this thing is actually gone. I'm just trying to hold your hand. So I'm just assuming that, man's cheating, because it doesn't make sense.
Reckon?
It doesn't make sense.
Because it was... maybe it doesn't make sense to us, but maybe because he said, at times he's tired. He'd come home and he wouldn't have the energy for it, and he'd have to pick her up, and that was weird because I'm like, you don't have to pick up your person every time. Like, maybe sometimes, but not every day.
And also, I'm assuming he was a trainer before he met her, so it's not like this. It's not a new tiredness.
Was he? Because he said he was what? He was overweight.
Yes.
And then he's gotten into shape and whatever, and he's lost weight, and he's now fit and healthy. But sometimes he's just tired, and I don't know. He also said he's sapiosexual, and I was like, no, that sounds like a very flimsy excuse.
That's where you're attracted to the mind?
Something like that. You're not only attracted to a person sexually, you're just attracted to you're aroused by other things, I think.
I think it's intelligence, I think.
In either way, he then comes and then he says, in addition to all of that, he comes to her.
Yeah.
And he
says... finding intelligence sexually attractive.
Oh, that's cool. And he says he has satisfaction from other things.
Yeah.
So just from being with her and seeing her, he's fulfilled.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's a form of gaslighting, in my opinion. It's like, oh no. I know I'm using the fancy word.
Not you talking about gaslighting.
Use the fancy word. But it is, right? Because he's coming to her and saying, yeah, he's making it seem like it's her problem. Like she's in the wrong for wanting sex the way that she wants it. Like she's in the wrong for feeling the way she does about it. So he's then saying, well, I take satisfaction from the other aspects of our relationship and not just that. So I don't get what your problem is.
Nah, I think
I don't think he might be cheating. Who knows? But I found that very strange.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Because she's hot. Like, it's not like she's not attractive. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I'm like, how?
Kind of sounds like you have a crush, sir.
I didn't say I have a crush, Tabo. I just said she's hot. She's gorgeous.
Angusoli. Like,
she was.
It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's chilled. It's calm. But yeah, I think, like I said, I just think Mans is getting it from elsewhere because that didn't make sense, and he was on the ropes. He was reaching. You could just you can tell when a guy is reaching. You know, I was just looking at him like, check. There's not,
because he was bringing any excuse he could think of. Oh, I'm sapiosexual. Oh, you've gained weight. Yeah. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I get satisfied from other things.
Nah,
it just kept being like there's something else. There's another block there.
Yeah, no. Generally, I could be wrong, but I don't know anyone who's gone through such a transformation. I think if you are sapiosexual, you're sapiosexual. I don't think it's something that you develop, over time. I don't think,
because she did say they used to do it all the time.
Yeah, and again, it makes a slowdown is natural, right? That's fine. But again, to the point where he's just like, no, I'm not trying to touch you and whatever. Then yeah, that's a big problem. That's not their relationship naturally normalizing or whatever. That's a very, very different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Because it made sense when they started when she said that. I'm like, this is the source of all your frustrations right here. It's because they're not doing the thing. So now they. Chris Rock said it. I'll send you the clip after this. But he said, Witty, it's not like people fall out of love with each other. They just, or they find new issues with each other as partners. Just that they stopped having sex and now they have time and the frustration
to evaluate this
to think about all these other pity-pities that were there before.
Yeah.
It's not like these are new issues. The issues were there before.
Yeah.
But Katesi, because abantu aren't doing the things, Now there's frustration. Now you're not walking with the step. Tabo's walking into the house, heavy and whatever, sluggish.
Yeah.
And then pick a fight. That's it. I don't know. But yeah, I found that very weird. Would you ever stay in a setup like that, though, where someone said to you, "I Tabo"?
Nah. I think one thing that I'm a big supporter of is, at the end of the day, there's a reason why I was attracted to you, and if you choose to do a 180, then I'm allowed to make a 180 as well and leave. You know what I mean? Like, so if you decide, if your thing was, no, listen, we're smashing every single day, wadi, and that's our life, and that's why I love you, and what. You know what I mean? If that's y'all's thing, and then you decide, nah, actually, I don't want to do that anymore, then that person has full license to say, actually, then I'm not staying, because this is what I'm here for. You know, like if you are cooking A+ meals, when we were dating, and then you decide I'm not cooking anymore, and the reason why I married you is because of your cooking, then I can leave, because the T's and C's, or what lured me, is no longer there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
been breached.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave. It's like, nah, thanks, but no thanks. It's okay. It's I will pressure, but we can, we don't have to force it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I see. What killed me was when he asked her, "Babe, have you weighed yourself? When last did you weigh yourself?" That was mean. That was, guys, don't ever ask anyone.
Vele Jimon's a problem. Hey,
how?
My clients. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Busy with the clappage. But anyway, what did you want to touch on other points in terms of blue therapy?
It's just the other guy was still training his ex-girlfriend. That was weird.
Yeah. Jamel.
But he must stop.
Jamel started off with me as a supporter, but he's been fumbling, man. He's been fumbling these last 2 episodes.
He fumbled. But anyways, guys, go check out Blue Therapy. It's really dope. Like,
the Afro Nation search. Yeah, no, there I was like, how you gonna make this Disney princess of your hand look like the rational one? Like, how are you gonna fumble the win like that, man? Nah.
So for those who haven't watched it, what this guy did is he told his girlfriend he's not going to Afro Nation, right? And then his girlfriend then did some detective things, CIA, FBI, and Tony. She checks, she looks, she finds out that Mans had bought ticket for himself.
Yeah.
To go to Afro Nation. Separately and apart from her. He then comes and says, no, it was a surprise.
I was trying to surprise you.
You ruined the surprise.
And that's how, like, again, that's how you see a nigga's reaching. Like, really, nigga? Nah, come on. Like, nah. Like, to do better, delete the email. Like, But anyway, yeah, it's a very interesting thing. There's 4 episodes out. I think they come out every Thursday or Friday. But yeah, do yourself a favor if you're looking for something to watch. It's interesting. It's gaslighting. But if you're a fan of like the Feeling Station, then yeah, you'll definitely love this type of thing. Same WhatsApp group. So moving on along. There's a tweet that I saw obviously on Twitter, and I found it very, very interesting. And this person had tweeted, Uguti, I always see people making fun of names that are popular in Zimbabwe. For example, Honest and Kindness. But they're cool with names like Frank and Grace because they are popular in the West. And then someone else quoted Unkanyiso quoted the tweet and said, if we direct translate our African names into English, we would all be Honest, Lucky, Kindness, all these other, names, which is, again, technically, that's true. That's 100% true what Nkanyiso said. But I don't think that is an accurate conversion, right? So you know how, like, for example, again, in like for like, yes, if we translate, like, for example, what your name is to be satisfied, right? Senamiso, to be satisfied. So what? Sumo, satisfaction, right? Satisfaction more type of situation, which is what Nkanyiso was saying. But I would say the proper conversion would be if we flipped it around, and let's say Ndebeles had colonized the world or whatever, right? Or just a lot of people who knew Ndebele and spoke Ndebele, right? And were naming kids. Imagine, I think the equivalent really would be, imagine, someone naming their kid Leta, or naming their kid some Buya. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know, Letalap, or I don't know, whatever it would be, where it's like, for us as Ndebele speakers, would be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because it's our language. So I think that's a more accurate, conversion, where it's like, nah, in the English language, if you're looking at the English people, they're not naming, their kids honest and kindness and whatever, because the English language is set up a certain way where they say, like, no, these are the names. This is what we name people in English. James, Thomas, John, whatever. That's what they name people.
Yeah.
Lati in Ndebele, we name people Spusiso, Tabisi, whatever. We name them that.
Yeah.
Because of whatever, our culture and A, B, C, D. But then when outsiders then go, oh yeah, I speak Ndebele, I'm going to name my son Leta. Then we're all going to be like, yo, that's kind of funny,
Exactly. So,
anyway,
and
that's my point of view.
I get it, and I think I agree with you in the sense that, I think, how can I put this in a nice way? There's been a huge confusion of cultural norms and ideas when discussing this thing. I think it was viewed, or the two people discussing this were viewing it in a very myopic way, because in my opinion, it's beyond just what the words are saying. There's a cultural norm to naming, which I think those two people left out.
Yeah.
And I think in our African societies, and not all African societies are the same, by the way. You have some societies which name differently and some societies which name in a particular way. Ours is usually to name intentionally, to give a name with a meaning or a sign of the times or a feeling or what the child brought to you, which isn't actually the case in Western countries, especially in English-speaking countries. They'll usually take a name from the Bible or just a name derived from Latin or whatever, as long as it sounds phonetically okay or it looks okay and they like it, right? That's how they do it. That's how the cultural norms differ. Now, when you then take a word like God knows, and it's not in the Western cultural norms or the norms of that language to use that word or that expression as a naming expression.
Yeah.
Whereas ngesindebele, nkosiyazi, it's in our norms and in the norms of that language to use the name or to use that word as a naming word. And it's important to kind of draw that distinction. Like, I don't think, look, if you're walking around with a name like Against or, Honest, it's fine.
Why do you say Against?
Because there was a guy who introduced himself. His name was Against, and he introduced himself as Against. Yeah, dude.
What was the spelling?
It's Against. A-G-A-I-N-S-T.
So why are you why are you saying, if your name is Against, why don't you say Against? Because that's what your accent dictates.
I know it's what it dictates, but then I just feel like I can't say Against ever again because he said his name was Against. Like, if someone says my name is Against, who am I to fight him?
Okay.
Against.
If that's his pronunciation, then that's his pronunciation, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it feels more like a naming word when it's Against more than it is Against. I think that's just my opinion. But yeah, so that's why I think certain languages also come with certain naming norms, which you don't have to follow them. That's why no one in Home Affairs will ever stop you from naming your child whatever you name them in English.
Yeah.
But that, I think, to then say that people are being shallow or weird or whatever for being taken aback by such names, It's a bit narrow. It's a bit of a skewed view, in my opinion.
I'm glad we agree, sir. I'm very, very happy that we see this the same way. But yeah, guys, add us and let us know, obviously on anything that you heard on this podcast, but specifically about this. Where are you on this conversation on, these particular names that are not the norm in the English language, and we kind of taking our naming structure and applying it to English? What's your what's your 2 cents on that? Let us know. I'd be happy to see what people's thoughts are on that. And then I think we are at the rundown, and we have a Siyazama. But anyway, the rundown is the part of the show where we are going to run through a couple of topics. We've been running through everything since the crypto topic anyway. But we're going to run even faster through all of these topics and give our 2 cents on that. Let's start with the Premier League season. It ended in dramatic fashion. Chelsea bottled it, but Leicester bottled it even more. And that was hilarious. But what are your overall thoughts on the season and how it ended? Quickly.
I think we should have like a separate bonus episode about the EPL in general. But I think it's probably almost as expected. It's weird because if you're asked to predict the top four, the 4 teams that were going to be in the top 4 in the beginning, those are probably the 4 teams you're going to go for. Yeah. The order might be different. Like you may have made a case that, Chelsea's been 200 what, and then Liverpool would have thought as champions would be higher up. Yeah. But you would have went with those 4 teams. And I think we're back to having a traditional big 4 more than a big 6. Yeah, I think I don't know.
It was big 5 at next season. The Spurs was kind of there, but like
during the Poch years.
Yeah, but Arsenal hasn't been there for a long time.
Yeah, it was a weird season. Some things changed, some things remained the same. Arsenal still Arsenal. They finished 8th last season. They're 8th this season. It was a weird season because I felt like the games were coming in really thick and fast.
Which was, personally, I wish that would stick around, hey? Like, I loved it. Every day football? Oh, my God.
Dude, you wake up, there's a game today.
It was great.
And then
all sorts of competitions. Every day.
From Friday to Thursday, there was football, which was great. I enjoyed it. So that was nice. Obviously, City won it. They were probably the better of a very weird bunch. Yeah. But yeah, man, ultimately it was an enjoyable season, wasn't it? We'll see what the Champions League and the Europa League final bring.
Yeah, I echo the same thoughts. It was pretty, to me, as good a season as you can get without fans. I've liked, seeing the games that did have fans and stuff like that, and the difference that it makes. It was good, and obviously the whole Super League saga. It was a lot that happened, this season where it was fun. It was a fun season. It was a frustrating season. Sad to see Franco. But I think, if we do a bonus thing, we really need to talk about Arsenal. Because not in a banter type of way, right? I asked on Twitter,
but
and I had,
they've got serious problems.
Yeah, no. I had an exchange with an Arsenal fan who, to this day, I think he's a listener of the podcast, if I'm not mistaken. To this day, did not clarify what, because I asked. I think someone tweeted. Oh yeah, I remember what happened. Someone tweeted out and said, "Uti, in no particular order, these are the these are the big 6 clubs in England, right?" So it was obviously the top 4 right now, plus Spurs, plus Arsenal, right? And then people obviously quoted it, and they were like, "We see how you snuck in Arsenal over there, whatever." And I quoted, I was like, "How did Arsenal make the cut?" Right? And it didn't make sense to me, because one, based on the season that they've had, that they're having, right, at the time that they were having, and the seasons that they've had in the last few years. The original tweet said the England's top 6 now. That's kind of how I looked at it. I was like, all right, cool. We're basically looking at either the last few years or the last 10 years. I don't know if you can
even if you say 15 years.
Hey, bro, you're going to piss some people off. But like, to me, and this, which is why I said, what you going to write? tell me, because he was like, oh no, hey, you Chelsea fans, hey, what, because everyone's like looks at Chelsea as a Mafigizolo, of which I'm like, yo, how can you look at us but then glide past Manchester City, right? There's no way we're Mafigizolo if Manchester City is there, because the only reason they glide past it is because, again, Manchester City right now is dominating and has been dominating since 2010 or 2013, right? Or 2012, whenever it was. But they've been a dominant team. And that's why I'm like, I'm looking at that period to say, okay, what has your club done? And again, 2 or maybe even 3 FA Cups doesn't really put you in a top 6 conversation for me. But anyway, before we go too deep into it, let's have a separate episode. Let's invite 1 or 2 people. Let's have this conversation to really. I really want to understand, if we move money, if we move brand out of the conversation, Arsenal Itinga, and we put results and trophies on the table.
Even if you bring money into the conversation and say, right?
Nah, but money wise, there's no other club. There's no other club, that you can bring into the conversation in England. Like,
do they have the firepower to compete with Chelsea, United, City, and Liverpool for players? No, I don't think they do. Or if they do, then they don't spend it.
No. Against the other big 6, yes, I hear you. But I'm just saying, just generally, now to pick the big 6 in England, right? Gamba, ama teams.
They probably come in. But like I said, I think there's now a separation.
I don't know.
My argument would be there's a separation between the 6 and the 4. I think there's now a big 4.
Yeah.
And the rest. More than we should start saying there's 6 big teams. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting conversation to have. But yeah, guys, look out for that. We're definitely going to have that chat, because now Arsenal fans need to come and tell me. Again, don't bring up history. Don't tell me about your invincible season. Don't tell me about how much money is in the club or how much money they contribute and the brand. I don't want to hear any of that. Give me results. Give me results and justify. And again, another question that I want you to answer. Are you proud of your club? In the last 10 years, are you proud of your club?
Probably not.
Since the invincible season. All right. We can even go back that far. Right, I'll give Wenger his flowers. Absolutely amazing run, great manager. I still like Wenger. I still think he has a coaching career. Personally.
I think he pulled off miracles, to be honest.
Yeah.
To get some of those Arsenal teams, if you look at them, remember, Giroud, Chamakh,
bruh, like they had some big
teams, to make top four with their mans.
They had some pretty trash lineups, but Wenger was consistently getting them Champions League football. I
always say Wenger was as powerful in his last years as Ferguson was in his last years, because Ferguson also managed to win the league with some dodgy players.
That's true. And then you Manchester United guys better make sure that you win the Europa League, otherwise Mourinho will still be your most successful manager since Fergie, and I hope to God I can continue to say that. At least for another year.
Jose lost all his credibility when he got sacked by Spurs.
Nah.
I think he's finished.
He was hired 10 days later, fam.
By Roma.
Anyway, we're getting carried away. We have said we'll settle this conversation, in
a separate
episode.
Thing.
Yes, absolutely. And then finally, I would like to have a lovely welcome back to my personal favorite segment of 6 Foot Weights, Siyazama.
It's been a dry couple of weeks, huh?
It's been a dry couple of weeks. I got a story in you, but yeah, for anyone who didn't know, anyone who just started listening to the podcast, Siyazama is the part of the show where we take questions, points of order, anything that you'd want to say to us in a very hush way that you'd like us to address, during the people. You can either send us an email at 6ftweights@gmail.com, or you can come to the DM at 6footweights on Twitter. Follow the podcast, and let us know what is on your mind. This week, a listener is heading off to university. Well, not this week, but they're getting prepared to head off to university for the first time. So a young listener, a skr, is going to university.
Halala, congratulations, skr.
Yeah, congratulations. Don't fail. Literally.
Kumbulo ukuthi ulandeni.
Exactly.
Look at us sound like abantu abadala.
Don't get lost in the sauce, fam. Otherwise, you get swept up. You won't drown. You better swim. But essentially, what the question was is, gents, I have a question. I'm currently in a relationship, and high school relationship. And we're going to different universities in different countries. So I wanted to find out from you, as the quote unquote big bros, shout out, as the quote unquote big bros, should I break up with this girl now? I do love her. Should I break up with this girl now, or should we try the long distance thing? What have been your experiences with that and university?
Should I start?
Yeah. Go. I'm trying to filter my stories. So yeah, start.
Well, I don't have to filter mine, so that's why I was very. I'm like, I can just. Angular restriction.
Go for it.
I was also in a very in the identical situation actually, many years ago. Obviously, finished high school. I was in a relationship at the time. At the time, I think we'd been dating for a year and a half, a year and a bit. So going to 2 years. Huh? Yeah, it was a year and a half when when Upper Six finished, right? Upper Six finished, I then got a place at Wits, which meant I was going to go. I think she was also going to go somewhere else. I think her plan was to go overseas or stay in Zim. So it was between those two. And obviously just meant that we're going to be in different places. Now, I think when you're young, right, there's that whole, oh, yay, together forever, fairy tale, high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
That dream. Because you think it's a thing. Exactly. And you think it's going to be a thing. We're going to be one of those couples that will be first each other's everything, first and last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So there was that whole dream. And then all the people at the time were just like, oh. You know when people don't say anything, right? They're like, all right, usabona.
How about you?
Hamba usabona. And then, because my uncles would came to pick me up or come see me and first and be like, okay, so you and you're a high school person. Oh, all right. And I know many people are like that, right? In a similar situation when they finish matric or they finish high school. What then happened was very quickly you grow when you get to university.
Yeah.
You take on different interests, you take on different friends.
You're changing.
You make new friends. You're changing, right? You start going to gym. I remember the one time I came home for the break and she was like, oh, you've been working out? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. That just means that we haven't been communicating, or this person is no longer a part of my life in that way.
The city boy was in his cocoon.
Not even.
He was
But
transforming
more than anything,
before our eyes.
But what the biggest thing that happens more than the changing and the growing is you meet other people.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. You get to university, you're young. I'm not saying that because you're young it's an excuse to do all sorts of things, but it's probably the time to live your best.
Yeah.
And try things, try meeting new people, try dating different people, get into a relationship, get dumped, whatever it is. And it might very well start seeming like your relationship is a burden. It could be that the person is a really great person, but you need to also give yourself that room to grow and experience life.
Yeah.
Because it's different when you're seeing each other busy jonjaring every Saturday at Mrs. Moyo, when Mrs. Moyo's at church, or when Mrs. Moyo's away for work, you're jonjaring a weekend here and there. But it's very important. So for me, I then met other people or met someone else, and then that kind of had to be the end of it in a way. And it's, you can try it, try the long distance, but don't hold yourself back if you feel like, you know, you need to go and do something else. Obviously, communicate with that person. Ukuthi, "I akusavumi.
Yeah.
Let me just." Don't cheat. Just be like, listen, I want to go explore."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much with you, bro. I think, well, my recommendation is break up with her. Cheer, bro.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, break up with her. Break up with her. Don't. You know, said I gave you the PG version. I'm gonna give you the Malum version.
I think you can try and make it work.
No,
and then
don't lie to the boy.
I'm not lying.
Chia lost the art of like I'm contemplating title of this episode, Lost the Atom. But anyway, yeah, no, like Chia, bro. And the reason why
you sound so much like my uncle, really, for real.
I mean, again, the reason why is like you said, I was also in a situation where I transitioned from high school to college in a long distance relationship, and when I reflect on it now, you know, it's one of those things where one, you're gonna have a lot of missed opportunities.
Yes.
Where because you were in this relationship, you didn't do this and this and that, you know, or you didn't do this one and this one and this one, but like.
Looking, because you ever like gone through your you know, like your class list and your
bruh. Yeah, like listen. We would have been, you know, or you know what, you wind up cheating and, you know, not being a shithead and stuff like again, it just puts you in a compromising position. Again, from a guy's point of view, we're still maturing. Right.
Yes.
And college is a completely new experience, especially if you go to, like, you know, South Africa, you go to the States, you go wherever, in the UK, you know, there's so much in terms of life that you're about to experience, and you're going to meet new girls and you're going to meet new guys in terms of, and people who are going to be, you know, business partners and friends for life, and, like, you know, your real boys who you're going to ride with, you know. And so there's so many different experiences, and sometimes the responsibilities that come with the relationship, especially a high school one, you know, you will lose out. You 110%, you will lose out on a lot. Unless, again, if you know what, I know this is the person that I'm going to marry, of which I'm pretty sure you're not. But, like, yeah, if that's how you feel, then sure, go for it. But again, unless it is, you have this feeling in your, if it's, you know, again, God himself said this is your wife. If God didn't say this is your wife, chia, bruh, leave it. Enjoy your college experience to the fullest, because trust me, there are mad things waiting for you for the next 3 to 4 years of your
also
life.
if you've grown up in blues where if you've grown up in blues where, you know, every time I say this, it never comes out right.
Okay.
But I love my sister Shim. Wear a hand, wear a jumpsuit, and then wear tights underneath, right? Because that's like the norm back home, right? And you get to Joburg. To Joburg, and then the thighs are just everywhere.
Yo,
it's booty shorts, it's mini skirts, it's this, it's that. You get confused very easily, and that time you're young,
bro.
You don't want to be a person who you have to feel bad for wanting to mac on a girl that you see and you think is beautiful.
And
at
again,
the age of 19.
like, for example, like with essay, and I mean, anyway, that's not Bulawayo, right? Again, in Bulawayo, girls are taught, and in Zim in general, girls are generally taught to be conservative. So you are 100% going to a country where, not 100%, but like 99% likely going to a country where the women there are much more liberal than the women that you've been exposed to in Zim. So now imagine that. right? Like it's a completely new environment where you're like, oh shit, you know. So again, you don't want the burden of a relationship on you, where you want to now explore these things and live your life and try to just make certain mistakes that you're gonna have to make and learn and have certain experiences. I just think any high school relationship is it's a liability. That's my view on it. It's a liability. Sell it, bruh. Sell it. This is Bitcoin plummeting, bro. Sell.
In any event,
don't think it's gonna come back up. Like, nah, bro.
In any event, when your girlfriend also goes to her university, the third years and fourth years and all these postgrad guys, once she features, best believe she says, "No, I have a boyfriend."
Once Goodman features with his M2,
Goodman will just laugh and say, "Ha, all right, no, you have a boyfriend, that's fine."
Or his AMG, leather seats. Come on,
you have a boyfriend, that's fine. Come, let me tutor you. Next thing,
you're still catching public transport to go wherever. This guy is got
busy. They're saying I'm faithful. The number of girls that I know in varsity, and this is like not like a proper testimony, like guys, but that I know who were in high school relationships, got to varsity, trying to keep the long distance thing, but it was difficult.
No, when Hootman features, that's one thing that you need to understand. You're going to be outmatched. She's going to fall because, again, security, and all these other reasons that we can go over for time. So, bro, Batlao Herda, save yourself.
Batlao Herda.
Save yourself.
No, I still say, look, try it, and if you feel like it's holding you back in any way,
lost the item. That's the best advice that you could ever get. Free yourself, brother. Free yourself. and
I tried.
Again, if you're a person that successfully had a relationship carry over long distance from high school to college, and you guys are now married, feel free to add the podcast. Let us know. Tell us your story. I'd love to hear it.
Do you think the stats in that regard are good? Because I don't know any cases of people.
I think the stats are minute, bro. Maybe it's 10% of cases.
Except the white kids from Bulawayo. Those guys, like I know a couple of white guys.
Yeah, but there's other factors there. So that's a different law. That one that's a different story there. That one is a different story.
Because I can name at least 3 guys I went to high school with, 3 white guys I went to high school with, that were dating a certain girl in lower 6.
Yeah.
They're proposing to them now.
Yeah, I know who we're talking about. We know them, but again, like I said, that's another conversation. That one, it's that one will shake some tables that we're not really trying to shake, not today at least. But yeah, no, that's our advice. I say lost the item. Senna says, be an optimist. But then at the end of the day, the decision is in your hands. And yeah, may the force be with you.
One of my cousins is 16. He texts me saying he wants to break up with the girl. He doesn't know how to do it. I'm like, bro, call her. Then he's like, no, I don't understand why I have to call her. Can I just send her a text?
Yeah, send a text. It's fine.
Hi, Tabo, he must call the hand. He's 16. At least let's
send her a text.
We're building real men here. I'm like, no, at least mfonele, Brian. Just say, no, listen. Because it's cowardly.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Sending a text is allowing yourself a moment to articulate your thoughts. Some people are not good on the phone, where if she asks you a question from left field and you're not prepared to answer it to her satisfaction, that could get you in more trouble.
Why are you leaving me?
So I'd rather send a text, and then obviously, should you require more clarification, please do not hesitate to contact me on my contact numbers as you have them saved. I'd be more than happy to clarify the, context above. Yeah. That's standard procedure. Standard procedure.
Breaking up with someone is not easy.
It's not easy, bro. It's hard, actually.
But also being broken up with is also hard, and that's why I think a phone call is better. Because a text is there, bro. You're gonna read that thing and be like, yo.
No, I prefer text. I've seen, I've been in situations where I've seen the heartbreak in someone's eyes, and it's not fun. You don't want to be that guy. Like, yo.
No, but when you're sending a text, you're basically running away from that.
No, it's, again, I don't
Because the reactions, the tears and the crying and everything is going to be there nonetheless.
Yeah, but so what am I supposed to do now? Like, hold you?
Yeah.
No, because then we end up smashing. And that's not the point. Like, it's like, nah. Like, it's.
Or even a phone call. At least a phone call.
Okay. I'm either or on phone calls, but I don't mind a text because, again, if you need to articulate your thoughts and then you say, listen, you can still reach out to me after should you require clarification, that's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, Mr. Moyo, it's been a good one, a very entertaining and a very educational one. And I guess
give thanks.
Yeah, we can leave it here. And as usual, guys, retweet the ting, like the ting, subscribe to the ting, and if you don't do the aforementioned, we are inclined to believe you're a hater. And don't be a hater. Mr. Moyo, see ya.
Latest, fam.